There it is. I just clicked the button. So you know what that means? That means it is time to start. Oh, and there's something I was meaning to do with the video information actually, which I haven't done yet. Hello everybody, welcome. Boom, Tokyo Tonight. I am here, not bringing the noodles tonight, I'm afraid. For those of you who watched 2.5 Oyajis last night, there were some complaints afterwards about the noodle harassment. Apparently this is a new thing. It was I hadn't heard of this until like 3 weeks ago. There are apparently people who claim bullying or harassment from people who eat their noodles too loudly, and I laughed. I didn't think such a thing could possibly exist, but it turns out I am actually one of the worst offenders. It's kind of a shocking realization on my own part. And yes, it was something that last night. So last night it was actually interesting. I was at a YouTube end of year party for people who hosted events and so on. It was a nice little party and so on. I also went to a French rugby party. I met up with my old rugby club, which was really, really good. And it was basically I wasn't going to make it home in time for 2.5 Oyajis, so I said to Victor, I'm just going to come like at the end of the show and please go ahead without me. But he said he'd send me the invite anyway, and I thought, well, I've been out drinking, I hadn't eaten any food all night, so I thought I'd get some food on the way home. I thought, well, why not just try it? I mean, you can never get the Hangouts on air to work from mobile phone before. I couldn't get them to work. But I tried it. I was sitting down to my ramen, and it worked. So I logged in, but I didn't know how to control the Hangouts on air. I wasn't sure how bad the sound was because I couldn't hear my own sound back. And there was a lot of I realize now how terrible it was. Plus I did figure it was always going to be kind of obnoxious with me eating noodles while of course that Japanese girl was making her big comeback. But that said, I always thought, well, something new will show you a bit of Tokyo life, and it's a bit like sitting down having noodles and catching up. But yes, of course, where I was being really, really loud with the noodles. So I'm sorry about that, but I think I did take you all on a walk through Shibuya and so on. It was good fun. So what I'm going to do as well, there's another thing. I've been making videos, you might have noticed, in the I've set up a new beta channel. It's based on my Google profile, which is just always there as a separate channel, and I just never put videos on it. And I've got so many mobile phone vids, which I just never edited and didn't really have anything to do with them. So I've actually found you can do so much stuff with editing on mobile now compared to what you could do before. I mentioned this already actually, that you can do I've enjoyed actually posting. I've got like 4 different series on this thing. They're intermittent. It's partly for me to figure out if they're good enough to warrant bringing onto the main channel. But yeah, check my new beta channel. So what I'll do is, if you refresh as of now, beta channel. Oh, the keyboard's giving me some funny issues now. It does happen with this software. It takes a lot of CPU stuff. So wait a minute. There's save. And in fact, let's do that, and let's also boom. Wait. Okay. Save. So I'm just going to update the video settings so that you can go and see the URL to the new channel. So if you just refresh the video, you'll see those. And let me go into cards, and why not just add a card as well? Promote a channel, create, boom. Me. I'll tell you what else I'll do. I'm going to do a poll. What should I do the poll on? My beta. Boom. So I'm going to do the. I'm going to create a card which is now live for that. I'm also going to create a poll, and on that poll, random question. I don't know, what should I do? what should I do for my poll? I'll come back to that. If I think of that, I'm going to come back to that. So let's go into the comments and help me come up with a good idea for a poll. You know, whether it should be like what I should do for an end of year thing, whether I should bring other video series that I'm making onto the main channel, whether I should just you know, make like PewDiePie and like delete my channel, because it seems to be a good way to get 50 million subscribers, is just say that you're going to delete it when you do that. That wasn't that something. So yes, let's go back into the comments now. We got Dokang there, we got Aphex. I think, wow, you were in there first, good stuff. Fox Morris, good evening to you, great to see you, Fox Morris, well done. Mr. Cordy Chap, who is the Incredible K? Well, hey, you made it indeed. Robert Old Dude, good to see you. Hi, you're Ellen, good to see you. Hi, you're Ellen. Robert Old Dude, Mr. Beard, Robert the King of Naps, indeed. Who else we got in here? Let's say hello to everybody. I like the saying hello part of the show. LMFAO, yeah. There's Raz Al Ghul, of course. He's always there. Let the games indeed begin. I loves and Chris. Okay, I thought that was, for a moment I thought that was I love the Antichrist. I was rock and roll, dude. You know. I loves and Chris. Well, that's pretty good. Forgot this was happening. Well, I'm glad that you saw it. I'm glad. I hope you are following the internets, the Twitters, and the Facebooks, and you got this good stuff. Language fan. Who else is in here? Come on, we gotta get people rocking live now. By the way, everybody, if do me a favor, actually tweet that this is live, because I want to bring it in. This is going to be the second to last one of the year, I think, probably. The Amazon buttons, I'll show you, although I've actually had to put the Amazon buttons, I did have them behind me so I could turn around and show them. But then the lad, when my back was turned, started pressing the hell out of them, and I had to cancel some orders. So now they are out of reach and far away from here, so I can't show them right now. But yes, I'll come back to that. There's Sergeant Bilko, hello Sweden, good to see you. And who else is in here? Let's scroll down. Mr. Cordy Chap, as always. The three old dudes, very good to see you. Yasa, hey, Yasa, good to see you. Matagajinka, good morning to you there in Canada. Chris J, hey, good to see you. Who else we got in here? Big shout out, by the way, to what is it? France Akajin or Akajin France. Anyway, there's a guy who was like face to face. He was like this far away from me in the packed Yamanote Line train last night on the way home after I did that dodgy live. And he wasn't looking straight at me, but I was kind of like, I wonder if that guy, sometimes I see people, and sometimes I think, did that guy look at me? Does he recognize me? Which doesn't actually happen very often. But as soon as he got off the train, he tweeted at me like, it was good to see you on the train just now. I'm the red-headed guy. So France, I think that's pretty French Akajin or something like that. But anyway, it was very good to see you. And please say hello if you see me. I don't mind if you say hello. Geez, I think I was feeling very self-conscious because I was still live streaming when I got on the train. But you know, please say hello. I enjoy that. And not many people do that. Talk about butter this time, or you will unsub. Okay, then I'm definitely not going to talk about butter, Mr. Cordy Chap. You're just incentivized by. Oh, there he is, French Akajin. Hey, good to see you, man. Speak of the devil, there is French Akajin. I'm just catching up on the comments now, and as soon as I talk about French Akajin, there he is. Yeah, I'm sorry if I was looking unapproachable on the train, but yeah, say hello, dude. It was nice to see you. Who's the Incredible K? Indeed, greetings. And I was quite scary on the train, was I? Sorry about that. Yes, not Antichrist. Sorry about that. That was total misreading. That was bad on my part. Who have we got here? Hey, Hemi. Oh, Jesus, it's jumping ahead and I'm now out of sync. Let's go back up. There's Herb Toker. Oh man, we got lots of cool people here. In fact, it's jumped like a long way ahead. So let's just go back up. Oh man. All of a sudden the comments just updated and my scrolling just got screwed there. French Akajin, yes, welcome back. And I'm sorry that I looked so scary when the Yamanote line was crowded. Please don't. I'm not scary. I'm a teddy bear, kind of. I'm a big, bold, angry looking, fugly teddy bear, but you know, a teddy bear. Mr. Beard, good to see you, Mr. Beard. Who else we got here? We got, there's Aphex right there. Will I harass your Noodle? No, I'm going to say no for that one, but thank you for the offer. We're all looking forward to Christmas. I'm sorry, I can't see it as anything other than I love Antichrist. Well, then you wouldn't be looking forward to Christmas, would you? So no, I'm looking forward to seeing Rogue One, which I'm going to go and see in Australia week after next, and it's going to be awesome. Might be on the airplane even, I'm hoping. Dark Moon Horror, good to see you. Foxstar, woohoo, yes, raised. Neobeer 66, good to see you. Boom, indeed. You should make a Tokyo Tonight drinking game, in which whenever I mention butter and the ending is awkward, yes, I think that would be you'd be pretty much guaranteed to end up on your face from that one. Neobeer is indeed back. And there's Lucas Massa, good to see that you made it. 071. Tomo Hooper, a food review channel now. Okay, well, not exactly, although now I know I can do it. Who knows, I might try it. I still think I can't start a hangout like I could do that. I can join someone else's one, but I couldn't start my own. I think that's how it still works. But yes, Kang and Kodos, good to see you. Man, Chris Jack, Dark Moon Horror. Seriously, this is all sort of cool people. It's great to see so many people made it. Barringer, Tomo Hooper again. Phoenix 787, you made it, good on you. And I think we're nearly caught up. I'm nearly scrolled all the way down. And yes, I know it's not Antichrist. Tokyo Twilights, good to see you, Tokyo Twilights. Jim Gates, hello. Hey, it's so good to see everyone saying hello. All you awesome people. What is that? That is Sortius. I think it was Sortitus or Sortius. I saw something for a second there. Ben Duncan, good to see you. And North Korea there, Jex Ashbolt, good to see your first Tokyo Tonight, Jex Ashbolt. Well, welcome to your first ever Tokyo Tonight, Jex Ashbolt. It's good to have you here. And yeah, I mean, all sorts of stuff to talk about. But basically, I'm going to Australia week after next, which means that next week will be the last Tokyo Tonight that I can probably do live this year, because the internet in Australia sucks so bad. Powered by hamsters, you know, like tired, lazy, you know, 3 hours a day hamsters. So yeah, you know, I'll probably do recorded videos over the end of the year, but I will not do oh, do I have an echo? Oh no, see, now you tell me that and I get paranoid. Okay, why is there an echo? Let me, by the way, people, now that I'm caught up to the comments, please let me know if you have ideas for a poll. Why is there an echo? That means I'm recording from two sources at the same time, so I need to shut one of those sources down. What would that be? My monitor is turned off. Do it. That's not a good idea. Seriously, is there an echo? Can people just verify if there is? I'm going to spend 2 minutes going into the settings and I'll try to fix it, but there shouldn't be. Raz Al Ghul can hear it. It's probably picking up something on the internal speaker. Maybe if I turn off this. Maybe I just unplugged my plug-in. In fact, I'm just unplugging all my external headphones. Oh shit. Ah shit. It didn't like me doing that, as it changes the sound settings when I unplug the external inputs. Geez, what do I do now? Well, you know, it wouldn't be my show if I didn't have technical problems, but damn. Okay. Well, oh, did it kill the echo? Did it work? Well, if it worked, that's good. But what do I do now? This is so bloody typical, isn't it? Let me see if I can't do something to refresh this. Oh, that's even worse. Okay, that's not working. Oh, that's just not doing. Oh, damn it. Perhaps if I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to reboot my streaming software. So I will. This will cut out for a second, but I will be back. So just wait 1 second. Oh, can I do this? See, this is the problem. I know it's. Okay. I'm hoping that this is going to be back to working. I'm hoping that this is working now. Will it come back? The stream status is good. I think I'm back. There's going to be like a 20-second lag, but it looks like it didn't stop the stream. Yes, I can still see the clock ticking. And okay. Oh, was there a delay? Seriously, is it out of sync now? Oh, damn. Anyway, I think I'm back. Raz. Okay, well, I fixed the echo. Okay, what do? Should I just restart this whole thing? Hey, Kahun Groove Guy, good to see you. Okay, I'm gonna, because I just screwed this up because I was trying to fix the echo. Hey, Emily Louise Mayland, it was good to see you yesterday. Raz, yeah, I'll blame Raz. Should I just restart the stream? Because if it's 3 seconds out of sync, I think probably the recorded version is going to be okay. I hope. But if it's out of sync, I know it's really hard to watch. Well, you just have to not look at my face, which actually people tell me they try to avoid anyway. Seriously, if I was a real rocket scientist, I would have lost like dozens of astronauts. I think that's clearly proven now. Why don't we just go into the subjects? Okay. This is the problem. If you tell me there's a technical issue, I have to fix it. I get obsessive about it. You know what? Even if this causes the echo to restart, I'm going to plug that back in because I might want to do something with that later on. Oh, that was a mistake. Okay, I'm gonna fix this one more time. I will be right back. That was silly. Okay. Now I'm gonna want to plug that in. Note to self: do not mess with the sound settings in the middle of a recording. Okay. I should be back. Stream status is good. I'm sure the lag is going to be like even worse now. Oh man, oh seriously. North Korean tour, so that's probably more entertaining. How do I do this to myself? How is my lag? My lag must be like awesome now. Right, either it's completely fixed or it's twice as bad. I'm guessing it's probably going to be twice as bad. Anyway, okay, I'm going to stop playing with the settings. Olivia D, thanks for that. I'm totally not going to well, it'll get fixed in the recording. So let's go through stuff that's been used this week. This is going to be the second to last show of the year. I'm going to do the last show of the year for this next week, and yeah, then we are going to, I'm going to be in Australia, so I don't know, for end of the year show, what should I do? Should I maybe do a hangout? Have you guys come and join next week? Would you like that? Give me an idea for what to do to mark the end of the year and the show next year. By the way, the other thing which I do want to say to everybody, check out the link below the video and on the video card. There's a link to my beta channel, which I'm doing basically 4 types of videos there: by flight videos, random mobile phone videos of Tokyo, stuff with my girl Alexa, sort of showing off sort of features and tricks and skills that you can do with this, and gaming. I've done a couple of gaming vids which are very fun to capture. So yes, if you want to see my other stuff, which I'm experimenting at the moment with mobile, go and subscribe to the other channel, because that is the I don't give a shit channel. And if the stuff there is good enough, I will upgrade it and put it over here, but I want to hear that from people on that channel. I'm also trying a lot of new YouTube features over there as well, including using these cards and so on. Darkman Horror, I've got, well, everyone knows that New Zealanders have the biggest decks that are anywhere. I mean, we are just, and the reason is that we all just take really good care of our decks. So anyway, let's get into the subjects. So apparently, I was just reading this today, some new theory by some bunch of physicists says that actually time doesn't exist. Apparently it's just a human construct. It's actually in physics. There's no, they can't verify the existence of time. And they've suggested maybe it doesn't exist, which is kind of freaky. So I thought that was retweetable. Yeah, we. Oh, Jex, you're from New Zealand, are you? So yeah, I mean, well, seriously, that's pretty much all that we do half the time. We just polish our decks. Toma Hooper. As a Welshman, I apologise for your rugby team. The stream is fine. The health is good. You've got a shitty connection, Phoenix. I mean, the lag is terrible, but the choppy, I'm afraid, is your end, not mine. Anyway, what makes a Japanese woman thinks she has... when will Japanese women think that they're in a relationship? This is an interesting one. So yeah, this is Rocket News, and this is kind of, fluff, but it's actually pretty good in a reverse ranking of 6 circumstances where Japanese women think they're in a relationship. One is when they go out together and they have fun. Well, basically something that's like a date, I suppose, and only 2.1% of people think that, but 5.7% if the two go out on the town together, again, have a date. Dating is just 5% of people think that they're actually in a relationship. Bonking, 10%. This is a surprising statistic that you can bonk, and only 90% of people assume they're still not in a relationship. It's also very funny that according to this random survey that I'm sure was half made up, 13.8% of people think they're in a relationship if they start to hold hands, which is actually more than just bonking. That is an interesting way of looking at things, but still quite low. I mean, you can be on a date and holding hands and doing all this sort of stuff. Kissing, well, again, everything seems a little bit ass backwards on the survey, but even then, it's only 24%. And it's actually verbal, written. I think you practically need a lawyer, pretty much, 40.5%, only if you talk. And even then, it does make me worry about the 60% who think that they're still not in a relationship, even when it's actually verified at that point. That was an interesting and funny survey, so I shared it. Hey, Tainaka, you missed all the drama. Actually, you timed it really, really well, because you just missed all of the stuff. Hey, you lived in Australia and now in Canada, maybe Japan next. Well, good on you, Jex. I've lived in Australia for probably about the same, about 10 years. But I have Australian family, so yes, can't be helped. What else we got here? We got Japanese farms, they can't employ enough people. There's the live stream today. There is a punk rock Obama. Check that out. And standing in front of the CIA sign, I thought just for that. That is like, if Obama was like that's what he's going to do apparently now. He's going to start a punk band called the Central Intelligence Agency. By the way, the whole thing about how this Central Intelligence Agency said that the Russians hacked both the Democrats and the Republicans, but they only leaked bad information on the Democrats, so they were showing favoritism towards the Republicans. And Trump said, well, these are the guys who said that Hussein had Iraq had WMDs. I guiltily admit that I laughed at that. I thought that was actually a really funny and very sad and disturbing response from the next president of America, because this is the agency he's going to use to kill people with drones. But it's good that we can all have a good laugh about the whole WMD thing now, obviously. But yeah, this is seriously Obama. I think he should go with that. I think that's a good look. Korea's fucked. We're going to get to that. We'll probably come back to that a little bit later, but yes, Korea's just screwed. I mean, if you think you're screwed in the UK and America, that's not screwed. I mean, that is these were legitimate outcomes of elections. People chose under the rules and all legit. But Korea's totally, really, actually screwed. It's actually kind of interesting. Something that made me forget about butter for a short time this week was finding out that Apple's AirPods, they won't be ready for Christmas. So I've been using these fellas. These are the Beats Solo 3, and they have the same chip, the W1 chip that is inside those AirPods. And and these things are basically they are awesome. They're very easy to sync with the phone. The sound is okay. It's not great. I was wearing these. The mic isn't so great. You could hear it on the live stream last night. So, but I'm quite happy with these. The thing is that in summer they do get a little bit hot. They're a little bit bulky. I do quite like the idea of having these AirPods, but they're just not around. Phoenix, you don't know shit about Korea. I mean, you don't. I mean, okay, with the scandal, look, I mean, what does she deserve to be impeached for? I mean, this is another point. she had links to a religious cult, and she had lost the support of the people. But in terms of actual criminal activity, nothing's actually been linked to her yet. Granted, her friends, it looks like, were peddling influence for, which actually every Korean president has done. Has gotten in trouble with. Basically, it looks like they had their own sort of fund or whatever, which was basically they'd name drop the Korean president, who would give like letterhead stationery or whatever to go and go around the chaebols to go and get money for her religious cult friend. And indeed, it does look like she was under the control and thumb of this religious cult, which is kind of disturbing. But in terms of actual criminal stuff, apart from the fact that she's incredibly unpopular, and remember the way that this went, this shut down all of government in Korea. This also jeopardized the U.S. military intelligence treaty, and which basically they wanted to sign with Japan. It's jeopardizing the first summit between Korea, China, and Japan in 10 years, which is going to happen next month. And as a result of this, Korea is not going to have a president for the next 6 months while they're waiting for the Supreme Court in Korea to adjudicate the vote in Parliament. So they don't have a president. They can't. It's not clear whether whether the president's going to be able to go and sit in the summit. They're probably going to have to cancel the summit. The entire opposition in Parliament, if they didn't get the impeachment vote, was going to get ready to quit. The capital's been shut down with million-person protests. Government and society there has ceased to function, and it's going to stay in a complete state of chaos for the next 6 months. I'm not saying that's a good or bad thing. I'm just saying it's a crazy situation. And it's based on stuff which is not yet investigated with regards to the president. We'll find out. And again, she probably should have just resigned. That would have been the tidiest way to do this. You said it's a good thing that she's impeached. Honestly, you said the same shit about Briggs and all this sort of stuff, but you just flippantly say this shit. There's a lot of stuff going on with what's happening in Korea at the moment. And I think she's been a complete failure as a president, but at the same time, they are fucked. That country at the moment is in an extreme state of being fucked. And they're not going to get out of it for a long time. And it's going to have repercussions for Japan, North Korea, America, serious repercussions for America and the bases there. Because remember as well, she's America's person there in South Korea. That's the Conservative Party, and they're going to get screwed. And it's going to be the pro-China parties, and frankly the pro-North Korean and anti-US based parties are going to get in there next. And that's why there are also a lot of people who are thinking this whole sort of scandal's been engineered, or it's been probably to China's and North Korea's sort of benefit anyway to have this whole sort of explosion happen. Whether or not they were directly involved in it, but it's almost certain that they were. So, and how Korea is going to pull itself out and recover from this? Sure, yeah, it's a great party that 1 million people got out and protested. And again, I'm no fan of Park myself. I thought that she, the way that she treated Japan was sort of, opportunistic and exploitative, and frankly sort of backfired, and it just deliberately ran Korea-Japan relations back 20 years. And it was just starting to turn the corner. But the problem is that she put herself in a position that she has no friends. The logical supporters of someone like her would be Abe and would be the American administration. She's fucked them over, so they don't want to support her. Her party, she's voted against it. So the conservatives are going to be out in Korea. She was trying to step up to China, but at the same time, to make friends with America, she deployed the TAD thing, which is also probably, again, partly why China decided to pull the plug on her. China's absolutely influencing what's happening in Korea right now, and it's absolutely linked to the missile shield, which she decided to deploy there, which is partly a stunt to give a lot of money to America to avoid alienating them, particularly with Trump coming in and threatening to close bases. So there's a lot of stuff going on over there, and it's not to say that the outcome isn't necessarily correct, but again, the president there, like with so many things, is just making it worse, frankly, by not doing the honourable thing, and frankly just falling on her sword herself. And that country is going to be extremely fucked for a long time, and it's not good for anybody. I'm sure you have full faith and whatever, and again, they're going to pay the money because it's a nice bribe for Trump, because they're afraid of him making good on his election promises that he was going to start closing down bases and extorting money from Korea and Japan for the bases. But this is intended to pacify America. But yeah, again, it's great that you have an opinion, and congratulations, but dude, it's not that straightforward. And in any case, I'm much more aggravated by these AirPods not coming out within this year, because seriously, I am actually like, I can't use wired headphones with my iPhone. I use these, but this is really, it's a serious inconvenience. It's a fantastic phone, all except for the the fact I can't use my regular AirPods because the wired one, the adapter I had somewhere, but I've lost it, so that's screwing me as well. And these would have solved the problem, but they're not going to release it. So yeah. Anyway, this is just interesting. The come and take stuff off the shelves shop in Seattle, the Amazon grocery store. And this is just a really interesting read, and it's a good reminder actually that I would probably feel awkward and self-conscious myself about just taking stuff and not going to a counter and walking out of a shop. But I could imagine people who have like their whole lives experienced anxiety about being watched in shops. I could imagine this sort of adding to discomfort. Maybe it will take the discomfort away, but who knows? Tomo Hooper, what does the future of TPP look like if Trump decides to pull out? Well, the conclusion seems to be now it's not going to look like anything. I mean, Japan, you're right, has ratified, but pretty much everyone is now. I mean, the whole reason everyone wanted to jump in the TPP arrangement was because America was in there. It was basically joining NAFTA for any country who joined it. You do get access to Japan, which is still the second to third biggest economy in the world. And it is interesting that Japan is trying to make a moral point by passing the treaty anyway. But Trump is clearly going to be out. He's clearly an isolationist, and that's going to make it really interesting to see what happens with trade in the next few years. I still think it's a good thing, and I still think that you should have these sort of TPP, like these free trade agreements, which have implications for not just making it easier to do business between different countries. It makes it very easy to set up a business in Japan and do whatever you're doing in other countries at the same time without having all these sort of tax and restrictions and regulations. That's the whole idea. Plus you can move back and forth. I mean, it also complements freedom of movement of people. Typically, if you're in a free trade zone, of course, it's like with Europe, you're going to have more open immigration, because you can't have a free trade zone and people not being able to move with their goods. So it all would have been quite beneficial, but of course we are living in an age where there's a bit of a backlash at the moment, where people feel like there's too much movement of jobs, there's too much movement of people, there's too much movement of free trade, and people are worried about the costs. And I suppose it's a natural correction, perhaps, that we go back into this isolationist phase with Trump, and not just obviously in England as well Britain, as well as with America and other countries. But I don't think it's going to be. I still think it's the correct trend. I mean, America's just gotten the wrong direction with climate change, with trade. I mean, and again, we just have to wait them out to fix it. I think it's going to be a really interesting time to see what America does without being in it. And I assume that the TPP is dead in the water. I doubt enough countries will ratify it to bring it into effect, although if Japan has ratified it, that does make it interesting. But this is another point. So the other free trade treaty which was under discussion was one led by China, which they're talking about having this whole summit next month is about having a new free trade area with Korea, China, Japan, and sort of Asian, which would have excluded America in the first place. And if America's not going to join the TPP, that makes that a very interesting discussion. And it's been completely torpedoed by South Korea just self-destructing this week. I mean, there's never really a good time for a country to implode. It's particularly bad timing in lots of ways. They could have just waited one extra month, and you could have actually seen a lot of really important stuff get done. So it's going to be really interesting if Japan and Korea are just going to do it. Japan and China are going to do it without Korea. And what they can do without that, but who knows? It's a really interesting time. Gifts for IT geeks, yes, I've already got that. I've got the Tap, which I love, but I also I want to get a Google Home, because that looks really cool as well. And I just want to sort of play around with them and compare them and stuff like that. Microsoft is also going to be boosting up Cortana, but there's all that sort of stuff. There's tablets and all sorts of. Seriously, this is a lot of fun. You can't get it in Japan at the moment. This was a parallel import, but it's all very, very good stuff. It's really frustrating. And in Canada as well. I mean, Canada's kind of, again, I mean, Well, all we can do is wait and see what's going to happen with America. I mean, America, the government's going to be run like a reality TV show for the next few years, and the part of me is morbidly curious to see what that's going to look like. But the problem is, it's fine if it's like Central African Republic or Ghana or Nepal or Ecuador or some country like that we can all look and laugh at having a screwed up political system from the safety of knowing it doesn't affect us. The problem is with America, we can't really laugh. It's kind of because it affects us. Alexa stuff, that's pretty cool. I've been playing around with that. Asahi, this is kind of interesting. This comes from BuzzFeed. So you know how this has been this big deal about there's been this big deal about Dentsu, the biggest advertising company in Japan, and probably in terms of influence, the most powerful advertising company in the entire world, and they have this incredible culture of overwork, which is right through Japanese society, but particularly for these top-end elite companies, there's this idea, you made it to the elite, you come here and you work to death, you should appreciate being here. And that's a culture that they had. They even had an unofficial manual that says that you sort of work to death. And some people actually work to death. And, they're getting in a lot of trouble for it now. And the media, the mass media, the regular newspapers and broadcasters are ganging up and bashing on Dentsu, really hard, which is really interesting because Dentsu provides the main newspapers and TV channels with most of their, their revenue streams. It's nearly all advertising comes from Dentsu. So it's kind of, even when Dentsu has had scandals in the past, it's always like they broadcast it and then they let it go away. But, this one's just been sort of pervasive because it's kind of so unacceptable, sort of what's happened. So what's interesting is BuzzFeed, of all places, has come back pointing out no one in the mass media has covered that the Asahi Shimbun newspaper, that's the symbol, is the rising sun. It looks very right-wing and warlike, but actually they're the far left-wing paper in Japan. It's kind of ironic, actually, when Koreans talk about banning the rising sun flag, all the right-wingers in Japan go, yes, we should totally ban the Asahi newspaper, which is Japan's most pro-Korean mainstream newspaper. But yeah, apparently they've had the same thing. They've had a warning. They've actually had a notice for improvement warning from the MHLW, just like Dentsu got, for also working their employees like in violation of labor laws. And apparently it's pretty, again, as you'd expect, it's common throughout the newspaper industry in Japan, but they don't cover that. Again, I would sort of go into conspiracy brother mode and say that perhaps maybe Dentsu's leaning on BuzzFeed, saying, hey, why don't you publish about them? And they're doing it. But it is funny, that is a story I haven't read anywhere else, and if it's true, it's actually BuzzFeed being a more legitimate source of information than the sources that we typically trust. So there you go. Hey, Henna Gaijin, hey, it's good to see you, man. Erin Cohen, what's my, do I have an opinion about Tofugu's Wanikani or other recommended way to study kanji? I do. Well, I already knew Japanese when he brought out Wanikani, but from what I've seen, for me learning Japanese, and I talked with Tofugu about what I thought were the best ways to learn Japanese back when he was like, before he had any of his, right when he was starting his site, he's always provided really, really good learning resources, and for me, flashcards were always the best way to learn. His learning system is based on techniques that I always found the most effective when I was at least for studying for exams and stuff like that, and I was a terrible student. But when I was successful at passing level 1, the tools that he is using in teaching are consistent with what I found to be effective. So I haven't used Wanikani myself, but it looks like a sort of system that I would recommend. And plus, Tofugu is a really switched on guy, and I really respect actually the content that he makes and so on. So I would actually, just for the reason of supporting him, I would go along with that. But it's. I think it's a good way to study kanji anyway, not for writing but for recognition. So yes, so Tatsuji Yoshimura, yes, my friend from Adachi, I'm sorry I upset you. I try to paint the view of Japan through my eyes. I've lived here for 20 years. I've lived in Tokyo for 20 years, and again, while I know I did give stereotypes. It is factually accurate that Adachi ward has the highest number of people on welfare of any ward in Tokyo. It still is actually a really nice place to go, and I go there regularly with my son. The parks there are fantastic. But when I painted that ghetto image, Tatsuji is from that particular ward. and he got upset, and I'm sorry to have offended you. I do avoid Adachi taxis, and Adachi drivers are the worst drivers in Tokyo. That is my personal experience. I'm not claiming that that's objective. That's just my experience in being here for 20 years. I avoid Adachi taxis. They're the worst. I've had nothing but bad experiences in them. So not all bad, but a lot of bad. But so that's probably actually aggravating you some more. But yes, I've been in Japan for many years, and this is my perspective. And every foreigner and every Japanese person has a different view on Japan. I'm sorry that my view doesn't align with yours, but just so that everyone knows, my views are my views, right? That's it. So there's no absolute truth on anything, but take my view. Hey, go subscribe to Tatsuji's channel and take his view as well. I encourage you to go and seek out other views on Japan, but I'm glad that you're all here, and I'm not claiming to be the Prime Minister. I'm not Mr. Abe. I'm not planning to, but there again, if my telling you about Japan helps you get a little bit more into Japan and find a way to understand things that you otherwise don't have of your own, that's a good thing. But I'm certainly go subscribe to Random Yoko. Go subscribe to all the people who have views on Japan that completely doesn't align with my own. If you've got one, Tatsuji, make videos. Well, you should. I mean, it's nice. It's easy to come on and criticize people who are making videos saying that that's not correct. But if you'd like a different view, go make your own. You're always welcome to do that. And if you've got recommended channels that you think portray a better view of Japan for foreigners to look at, please put them down there. I'll promote them myself. Okay, so group hug, and it's all good. No, but understand, I'm not being intentionally offensive. I'm just trying to share. With people who are interested, my view, and I've got a view which is based on me being a foreigner living here for 20 years, and I don't expect you to understand how I see things, and I know I'm never going to see things the same as you. So, enough qualification. Anyway, that's Asahi Shimbun. They have received warnings from the Rodo Kijun Kyoku, from the Labor Standards Bureau, and I wasn't getting covered, and that's interesting. So that's what's there. So yeah, apparently Cadillac, they're going for the Volkswagen market. I just found that funny. Yeah, Cadillac making a serious play for Volkswagen customers. I think that's a little bit harsh on Volkswagens, but I mean, Hitler did actually. I mean, we don't need to go there, do we? Okay, so yes, this is me last night, the Noodle harassment. I'm very sorry about that. Japanese startups. Oh yeah. So actually, I just discovered this blog today, and I was reading it. It's really, really cool. It's talking about the problems that Airbnb is having in Japan. And Jex, I'm sorry, that was a terrible joke. And you can tell I stopped halfway through it. This Disrupting Japan blog is really, really interesting. It's about these businesses like Airbnb and the problems that they have actually adapting to Japan. And it's a really good read. So I added it to my one, Rochelle endorsed it, and two, I added it to my RSS and my Twitter. So you're going to see me recommending more stories from it. But this is really cool today, and this is one. What your startup, if you're doing a startup, Phoenix, maybe this is you. Maybe it's not. But when you look at the problems that Airbnb is starting to have, and maybe they don't fully realize that they have yet. This is what lessons learned from basically the backlash of the hotels which are currently getting destroyed. Airbnb is doing really, really well in Japan, but Japan isn't a society necessarily where people just lie down and allow themselves to be disrupted. If you've got vested interests, they're connected with the regulators and government, and they'll make it difficult, and they are making it difficult for Airbnb, and it's worthwhile. It's a great case study of the challenges of bringing a business to Japan, what's happening with this. What else we got here? There's Mr. Abe saying that poverty has improved a lot in Japan, and maybe it has, maybe it hasn't. I don't know. I don't know if it has or not, but the Huffington Post Japan, I know. The Huffington Post Japan is saying, where's your data for that? But I mean, seriously, after seeing Trump, this is like nothing. I'm quite happy to just go along with that. The welfare system's getting reviewed. Successful launch of the H-2B rocket, which is sending a cargo payload up to the ISS. So Japan rocking it with the space program. That is super cool, actually. I mean, it took them a long time with the H-2 to really get the rocket sort of safe and stable. But Japan is the only country. I mean, Europe, America, and Russia have indigenous rocket technology, and Japan is the fourth one now. China has a space program, but they just basically reused and copied Russian rockets, which are, again, fantastic. They're the AK-47s of rockets. They're old-fashioned, they're reliable, and all that sort of stuff. But Japan actually built its rockets, without transfer of technology from the US. And because of that, it took them a long time to do it. But it's really, really cool what they're doing with their space program. Well worth following. And India as well now. India very recently. Good point, Barringer. And actually, and I guess that must be indigenous technology as well. I love space stuff, by the way. Anything space stuff you'll see here, I put onto my Twitter. The yen to the US dollar ratio, if you were in America, now is a good time to come to Japan, because just like since the election, pretty much, the yen has dropped 10% in value. I'm not exactly sure why the US dollar is going up compared to the yen, because a lot of people would have thought, well, if people think America is fucked, typically the money would leave the country. But there again, I think what might be happening is people are putting capital back in America. They're probably repatriating it because they're afraid of tariffs and restrictions on sending money and people abroad in the future, perhaps. So it could be optimism about Trump. It could just be an expectation of isolationism coming up, and they're repatriating money before they have their investments get stuck overseas. Whatever the result, the yen has gone down and the dollar has gone up. And if you were coming from America to Japan, things have suddenly gotten cheaper. Like I'd say the typical correct exchange rate based on like the Big Mac index, sort of, or the value of stuff, typically is 105 yen to the US dollar. So if it's less than that, it means Japan's going to feel expensive. If it's like 100 or 95 or 80, we got down to 72 last year, and that's crazy. It just made Japan like unvisitable. And then the other way got up to 125 last year, and that's like everything in Japan on a 20% sale. Right now, everything in Japan is like on a 10% sale. So right now is a good time to come over and check it out. So that is why I put that there. It's interesting. Also, I've got a bunch of US dollar savings, so for me to put it into yen, it's a good time. Because right now I can get more yen out of it. But I'm just going to hold back. I want to see why. I think it can get to like 120. This is cool. So I've got my tab. This is a watch which has Alexa built in. I have no idea how that would work. But yeah, in fact, is that it? Oh, in fact, no, that's not it. This is a ranking of popular stuff that people bought in Japan this year, which has some dodgy ads. But yeah, if you want to know what Japanese people like buying and you're looking for ideas for Christmas stuff, especially for Japanese people, yeah, this is a really cool, just a list of the most popular shopping items in Japan. That's a nice little blog. It's in Japanese, but it's pretty cool. This is very cool. This is somebody went to the trouble in a very Japanese way of reviewing, trying out, and doing a detailed review of every one of the most popular Japanese condom brands. What people can tell you, I'm sure people are immediately going to say, oh, I can't wear those Japanese condoms because I'm just too big for them, which, yeah, they are typically. I think the average diameter is about 35 or 38 millimeters. Whereas typically when I was in New Zealand or, I think in America, typically even the smallest tend to be like 42 millimeters, and they get like 47, 50 millimeters. 50 is kind of big. But in Japan, they're a little bit tight, but there again, Japanese condom technology, very much like its toilet paper technology and toilet technology and all this other sort of stuff, it's just better. Like nappies. You talk about putting nappies on kids, and Japanese go to Australia and they talk about it's like putting a cardboard box on your kid. They get chafing and all this sort of stuff. Japanese diapers are the best diapers in the world. Chinese come over here and they just buy as much as they can carry back because they are the best in the world. Japanese are good at just making better quality stuff. There is an issue with the sizes, but the point is they've got the thinnest. The technology in Japanese condoms is amazing. I just wish that they were a little bit more flexible on the size thing. Yeah, he's actually gone through and he's done a comparison based on, here it is, smell, ease of application, the ease of putting on, By the way, these things, those are millimeters. They have the 0.01 millimeters, 0.02. I mean, it's practically, it's not even like Glad wrap or Saran wrap. It's actually like even less than, it's crazy how thin these things are. And he's got a scoring system. So you've got this overall ranking based on ability to feel, smell, ease of application, just overall. He's done this sort of scoring thing. And apparently the base condom in Japan is the 0.01, which you'd expect that is actually the thinnest one. But he's gone through, like, in a lot of detail, a very detailed scoring system for this. And if you can use them, I mean, you should, because they are amazing, you know. And my Japanese friends in New Zealand will always make a very big deal about that they are, and I think they objectively are. And, you know, you can kind of stretch them out. It's like filling a water balloon. Anyway, it's an interesting blog, and if you can use them, this is, again, one of the good things about Japan, actually. So what else we got? We've got earthquake insurance is getting more expensive. 10,000 registrations for drones. The Germans are saying that the Russians are coming. Magic Leap is not coming soon. This was some crazy shit. Did you see this? This was found in Myanmar. You all heard about this, right? They found an amber encased dinosaur tail, and this type of dinosaur, it's the size of a sparrow, but it's from the same family of carnivorous dinosaurs as Tyrannosaurus rex, and those are feathers. So this is like the first time that anyone's ever actually seen like the feathers that were on that dinosaur family that includes the T-Rex. And, again, it's kind of destroyed my childhood a little bit, you know, realizing now that T-Rexes were probably covered in feathers. But holy crap, this is like, that is not a T-Rex tail, but it's pretty damn close too. And there it is in amber, it's just like from Jurassic Park. This was like the coolest news to come out all week. I mean, this was, even in Japan, people were like freaking out about this. And I'm not like a huge dinosaur person, but holy crap, those are feathers that you can see on the tail of a dinosaur. It's crazy. So yeah, I'm really hoping that they can do a Jurassic Park on that stuff pretty soon. Yeah, thanks for that, Phoenix. Nice thought for the thing. Yeah, insanity of Pizzagate, just America's lost its mind. Thank you, PewDiePie. Man, I mean, real nice 2006 trolling technique, you know. I don't, maybe that's what I should do. I'm gonna delete my channel when I get to like 1 billion subscribers, okay? So just subscribe to me. If you hate me, just subscribe to me. Get me to 1 billion subscribers, and I'll do you the favor then of deleting my channel. Or one of my channels, who knows, you know. And of course he didn't do it. I mean, you know. So, yeah, that was a troll, and it was absolutely foreseeable. And the only thing that made it, like, in any way, like, is he really going to do it? Is like, would he actually do something so lame and so retro YouTube as pretend that he was going to delete his channel for attention? And he did. You know, it's kind of disappointing. I don't actually watch PewDiePie. I know the people who do are big fans, and they're very loyal to him, and that's great. But seriously, that was kind of crappy to me. You know, I don't know. Best soundbars. Oh yeah, this is kind of, again, you talk about all the fuck stuff happening in the world right now. Apparently, the Trump administration is already doing a survey of, they're trying to find who in the EPA has worked on climate change committees and climate change related projects. One would assume they're making a list and checking it twice for people that they're going to remove from their positions in the Environmental Protection Administration. This is like the Copernican, to me this is like the Catholic Church getting rid of the people who believe in the sun going around, the earth going around the sun. This is insane. This is actual like voodoo shit insane. You know, that they're actually dismantling the EPA, and again, it's because it affects all of us, and the fact that people that even think like this and that are moving so aggressively to like dismantle this stuff. I can only think the only reason that you would be like this if you were religiously inclined towards wanting to bring about the apocalypse, which, you know, means to me the Tea Party and ISIS. And they both want the same thing on this. I mean, this is exactly what you would do. It's crazy. And it's very aggravating, to tell you the truth, but I'm trying not to get too aggravated by it. I mean, again, he won fair and square. Americans, you voted for him. But seriously, I mean, seriously, Yeah, it's good. The between the AirPods and the treating of climate change like a blasphemous theory by the American government, I'm actually finding things to be more frustrated about than the butter shortages at the moment. The AirPods as well. So this is good. But the thing is, that's not a first world problem. That's the first, second, third, fourth world problem. And it's just being treated like a reality TV show joke. Hey, could I do a video about how to use a calculator? I've done a couple, and I've got the Dark Moon Horror. We've got the Tokyo Digital Crew channel, where I am planning to actually put up some tutorials on that. In fact, I might even do something after this. It's pretty, and I might do it live, actually. I don't know, it's kind of late and I'm kind of tired today, but I am meaning to do that. So yes, all my music related stuff, I'm going to put up some tutorials, and I will make a playlist of how to use Calculator on Tokyo Digital Crew channel. So go and make sure that you subscribe to that channel, and that stuff will be there. I've already done a couple, but yeah, let me do a couple of maybe walk along sort of things. So Dark Moon Horror, I assume that you've got the app. So yeah, if you've got that, definitely I'll do it so that you can sort of play along if you like. That'll be cool. Yeah, I'm definitely wanting to do that. Yeah, the climate change work. Also, Mike J in 5092, I really had to think about it. But you know what? As much as I need butter, I think I'm willing to go along with out of control climate change being worse than the butter shortage. In fact, climate change could lead to more butter shortages. I mean, the fact is in Japan it's artificial, it's human created, but you can actually have like flooded coastlines and droughts and all this sort of shit, which actually that's the shit which actually causes like real butter and food shortages, and that stuff is actually much more important. So anyway, and that's right, melted butter. Well, plus it's not necessarily hot weather either. It's climate change, and that's the bigger problem actually. And by the way, this is like my thing for a long time. I was a climate change policy researcher for the Japanese government for a few years. It was my expertise in my law degree. This literally is like flat earth voodoo shit at the moment is taken hold of the US government. And again, everyone's saying the president, the electoral college, but it's not. It's the Senate, it's the House, it's soon going to be the Supreme Court and the presidency. So thank you, America. Thank you for that. I mean, Australia is just as bad, actually. Australia is probably actually even worse than America on that. Canada's been terrible on that, by the way. They made a lot of money from coal sands, it's oil sands. So, it's just the whole world, I guess. What can you do? Been kind of frustrated today, actually. I'm sorry about that. I don't mean to do that. Bully is on iOS and Android. I think I'm going to make that the theme for my... I've never played that before. I want to play it, so I think I'm going to do on my Mediocre Gamer series on that channel that's linked below. I think I'm going to do myself playing that. That should be quite good fun. Anti-science craze driven by millennials. Don't really know about that, but that's from Gizmodo. Apparently flashing LEDs can help fix Alzheimer's, which is kind of cool. Apple is fucked with it with the AirPods. They don't know how to make them. Mr. Cordy Chat. Well, I've been talking about butter, but there's been a lot of funny stuff. I don't know. 808 the movie, the drum machine, the movie. This is something I have to watch. This is quite good. I'm sure Bully is a good game. Well, Rockstar is a pretty good service. So there we go. Point Nemo. There we go. The furthest point from anywhere with people in the world. Right there. You can see New Zealand is on the fringe of it, which is nice to see as well. That we're pretty close. Wow, and this is only like 1 day away, so I'm just going to go race ahead and see if there's anything else that's really like stand out interesting from this week before I wrap up. Article 9, what else have we got? That is just, look at those feathers, that is just crazy, the dinosaur feathers. This was last night. I was at this YouTube party. There was Tekakin pouring champagne because that is how he rolls. This is me doing a hyperlapse and a nice little filter thing there. This is a person who photographs rockets. Park's impeachment. I'm just not saying that the outcome is necessarily, is wrong or anything like that, that it's crazy that Park's out of the job. What I'm saying is that the whole situation that Korea is in, and yeah, sure, probably they'll be fine, but, no, there's actually, this is, and how they get into this problem again, this is Korea, please. Really enjoying this. Is an Everfilter. It's an app which is, I think, only available in Japan, and frankly you recognize right away it looks exactly like the sort of backgrounds from Your Name, it detects the sky in photos, and it creates these watercolor sort of skies. They're really cool. So I've gone back to some of my favorite old photos, and I've redone them using that app, and they look really good. So that is quite cool. John Glenn died. Well, he's 95. He had a good run. Punk Obama, yeah. There's some repeat of stuff there. In fact, it seems to have recycled actually some of the stories I was looking at before. So I don't know what happened there. Radicalization is not just Muslims, damn straight actually. I mean, that fucker who went into that pizza restaurant should be treated like that. I saw this fella, this was interesting, this is exciting. The other night I was walking home and I saw this massive, it was smaller than a big dog, but it was bigger than a cat, but it looked kind of like a cat, but it had this massive sort of tail. And I thought it was like a tanuki at first. I posted that it was a tanuki, but actually Hikosaemon, he caught one of these. There are these Asian palm tree, Asian palm civets. They look a lot like possums or raccoons or skunks or tanuki. They're all sort of from the same general family. They're not indigenous to Japan, but they're all over Tokyo, apparently. I'm just learning this now. There are blogs dedicated to telling the difference between tanukis, which are Japanese raccoon dogs, and civets, and they have a kind of different face. But I saw one, it's amazing. I'm in an area with no proper parks, at least not very nearby. A very urban area, and this was like an animal, you'd expect to see up in the mountains in a forest. I saw it run off between some buildings, but it went right in front of my path. I took like 10 photos, but most of them were like blurry, but one sharp one there of the shape. And Hikosaemon, he actually trapped one of these himself. He's got a video of him trapping one of these, and it looks exactly the same as the one that he trapped. So he called it the civet. But yeah, that was really cool running into that actually. Oh no, not that one. Oh no, this means it's going to refresh. I don't want it to refresh. Let's see if I can catch up. But anyway, so I guess I never came up with an idea for a poll for tonight. Hope you found it interesting. Sorry, yeah, the climate change stuff is a bit out of, I'm trying to shut out the stuff with what's going on around that stuff at the moment. It is deeply frustrating because, I've got a kid, and this stuff is really actually seriously going to mess up the world that my son is going to be living in. I mean, it's going to affect within my lifetime, but my son's lifetime is going to put, his world in a really bad place. And that's why I'm very frustrated with the kind of flippant treatment of climate change now. It's just insane to me. It is literally like burning people for believing in the sun going around the earth now. Yeah, so what else have we got? Anything else you're interesting? We've kind of caught up here. There's the civet. Yeah, here's Korea. So, yay, good on them having a good party, but, they're fucked. And I think those people that right now, they don't realize how screwed they are. Yeah, Oliver Smith, it's a good call. I've learned all about these things this week, about the coffee thing. Yeah, Japanese Sasquatch, that's pretty much it. The ramen shop that I went to yesterday is Tenkaippin. That is my favorite ramen shop, actually. It's my favorite chain, anyway. There's another one which I like called Mensho, which is in Korakuen. But this one, yeah, Tenkaippin, it's really thick broth, chicken-based, good noodles. I had a butter kimchi with rice, with the noodles. That was a really good meal. 1,000 yen. It was awesome, actually. That was that was good. Those were good noodles yesterday. My apologies for the noodle harassment. However, there were some complaints there in the comments. Yeah, and this was just interesting. Like literally 1 month ago, President Park was calling for an end to term limits. She was actually planning, in Korea you're restricted, I think, to 1 5-year term as president, and she was saying it's like a coat that, an old coat that doesn't fit anymore. Let me become president again and be president until 2023. Everything that's happened in Korea has happened within the last month. It's been just crazy how quickly it's moved. Tomoko was right. They use a lot of garlic, and I added garlic to it. But I just really like that broth. It's not one of the typical sort of types of ramen. It's not shoyu or tonkotsu. It's close to tonkotsu, but it's chicken based. It's excellent. Tenkaippin is like my favorite ramen in Japan. You're not a fan of garlic? if not. But anyway, when you get to Japan, I'll definitely show you some. I'll show you some good ramen anyway. But yes, I was adding garlic to it. Expanded sanctions against North Korea. This has been very quiet news, but it's really, really interesting actually what they've done. Ships that have even visited North Korea can no longer, i.e. what North Korea does is for most of its ships, it registers them in Panama, and I think there's an African country as well, but it's mostly Panama that they register their ships. I think Angola as well. So, they don't fly the North Korean flag, but in order to catch those ships that North Korea is using that are flagged under a different country, it's banning any ship that's been to North Korea or is going to North Korea from docking in Japan. They've also, in 58, banned people who cannot re-enter Japan if they leave Japan, and these are people who include North Koreans born in Japan, basically, people who are associated with the Chosin Sorin, the North Korean Residents Association. That's kind of interesting. That actually will have put a lot of pressure onto North Korea, actually, because they still make a lot of money from us, from Japan. Yes, that is ridiculously cool. Rogue One starting soon, can't wait. The buttons, yes, so I got the buttons. They're cool. They're buttons. I think I showed a video of them anyway on my Girl Alexa thing, which again is on my other channel, which is below and in the card for this video. Go subscribe. Because seriously, I'm showing lots of tricks and sort of games and stuff that you can do with this, and with the buttons. I'm showing how that's sort of working, and that's pretty cool. So and I'm thinking that's the most likely blog that I'm going to bring onto the main channel at some point. But yeah, you can check all that good stuff out. And it's been a busy week, and it's going to be another busy week. We have a lot of Bonenkai end of year parties in Japan. And last show of the next week, come back next week, Tokyo time. I'm going to do another open mic. I'm going to try to get, like I've done before, try to get as many of you guys on as possible. Just say hello. It's lovely to be able to talk in the comments and to interact like this as I can do. And yeah, it'll be really cool to have another invitation for you guys to come and join me and just say hello and just tell me what you like and what you want from next year, and what's been. And when we do it, when we look back on 2016, I've been a little bit aggravated today, but I've been doing this on Facebook as well. I really want to put aside all the bullshit and focus on what's been good. There's been a lot of stuff that's been really cool. So next week, let's focus on what's been awesome about 2016. And Sergeant Bilko, I'm liking the buttons, and I didn't get them either. I thought it'd be kind of a fun gimmick, but actually, I'm kind of becoming converted to them. But I'll explain that anyway on my other channel, on my Girl Alexa blog. So thank you for joining tonight. We're an hour and 10 minutes, but there again, I guess the 10 minutes also was a complete write-off because of the technical issues. So yeah, thank you for joining me again. Check out Tokyo Digital Crew, where I will be posting tutorials on how to use Chaos That I've been meaning to do it for a long time, but I will do it. I've already done a couple of live blogs like that. Check out my beta channel below for what I'm experimenting with ideas for new video channels, and tell me if you think that these are videos that should come onto the main channel. And yeah, and come back and join me 2.5 Oyajis and Tokyo Tonight next week. And that'll be the wrap up for 2016 before I head off to Australia. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this, and see you again soon. And don't forget to stay in touch. Reach out, contact me anytime, Twitter, Facebook, all that good stuff. And that's me. Peace. Booyah. Mr. Bearden, very nice of you to say. Stop streaming. Waiting.